Hi there, so today I'm going to show you how I made my latest funk house, tech house track, and it's called Whatcha Got. So the first thing I do is choose a key, and that's F minor in this case. It's a really good key for sort of house music. And so with this song, if I remember rightly, I just started bashing out a bass on the keyboard and just started recording, and just came up with something like this. So this is recorded MIDI. So then what I normally do, obviously my timing's not quite on there, so then I start arranging the MIDI notes, line them up either on the beat, on the upbeat or the downbeat, and yeah, so it just looks something like this. Okay, I might incorporate some syncopation in there, something like that, and things like that. So then we've got this. And you see that bass line sort of crosses two bars, so it nicely fits there, and we've got a little bit of gap, and then we could start with the next phrase sort of here. Okay, I don't know if I've got any, so let's see what that sounds like. So you get the idea. It's just sort of trial and error, see what sounds good, sort of listen to it, keep repeating the loop, and and that's time like that you start thinking about melody and maybe the sort of what sort of groove the song has got, and maybe even sort of a vocal idea. So what I ended up with was with this. So we can see here I've got a pattern here covering from bars 3 to 8, and it sounds like this. And for this bass, so that's quite good, that groove. So for this what I'm using is Nexus 5, so there's some really nice basses and nice sounds in here. So it's just a matter of playing around, see which one you feel is going to fit the groove. So that's quite a slappy bass. Anyway, what I ended up going with was one called Movement. This one is quite funky, so this is how this ended up sort of being a sort of quite a funky house track in the end. Okay, you can hear there's quite a lot of pitch bend in there. If we look at what's going on here in the Nexus under the bonnet here, so we've got some vibrato, we've got some portamento, we have got pitch bend, -1, -2, so you can see that in the kind of strictures of the bass. And you'll see later that I did use some automation on cutoff and the envelope to sort of really add characteristic to the bass across the verse and build up in the drop sections. So we've got a nice bass. So then what I did is write sort of some different patterns of MIDI here. So you can see this one here, we're going down and it sort of repeats, and this one goes down even further. Okay, and then we sort of repeat this bass here. This probably should have been called bass 1B. Okay, then we've got a repeat here as well. And then we've got a bass 2, which is a slightly different pattern. It sounds like this. So with the automations, which I will show you later on when I started doing a bit more sound design, the final bass sounds like this. You can see the automations kicking in here, cut off the envelope. Okay, and that just comes, that just came as the track developed. So the next thing I would do is, I got an idea for this track when I just kept repeating the loop, the bass loop, and I came up with this lyric. Now what I normally do with a song, if you watch my other videos, is I have a working document, so and this is where I stick all my ideas down, and initially I don't have a working title. It's 230 beats per minute and it's F minor, so I normally stick down all the chords and things like that. And although with this one I didn't start off with a chord progression, I just went straight into the bass, and I really liked it. So then I just started singing over the top. What you got? What you got? Yeah. Show me what you got, moving down your body. Okay, now you can see I've also structured the song. So we've got an intro here, 12 bars, then we've got a verse, we've got a breakdown, then we've got a build-up, we've got the drop, and then we've got another breakdown, intro 2, verse 2, build up, another drop as well. Okay, I did end up doing an extended version of this, so there was an extended intro, because obviously this is a sort of track that I'd like to sort of push on with DJs on Beatport and things like that, so we need a sort of an 8/16 bar intro and outro, so this extended the song to sort of just over 5 minutes. So the next thing I did with this song is I just started singing over the bass, so I just kept repeating the bass loop and just see what ideas I came up with. And this is one of the Vox tracks that I recorded my own vocal. It sounds like this.
Show me what you got, moving down your body. Show me what you got, moving down your body. Show me what you got, moving down your body. Show me what you got, moving down your body. Show me what you got, moving down your body.
As you can see, we've got an auto shift on here, which is Ableton's auto tune, and it's set to F minor. We're at 73% strength, and we're on 15 milliseconds. And I've also got a Pro Q there, so I've taken off some of the highs and some of the lows. And what I do, I felt this needed sort of like some sort of funky, sort of deep voice. So I did sing this again a little bit deeper, but then I've using some EQ and, as I say, using some Fox plugins and enhancing the voice and carving it out to what I actually want to sound like. And this is one of my favorites. This is Wave, this is CLA Vocal Stereo, so just start me up, which is a good place to start. And I think we'll have some image verb on there as well. So, you know, I just play around the vocals, get to sound what I want it to sound like. You know, I hope it's gonna suit the track.
Show me what you got, moving down your body. Show me what you got, moving down your body. Show me what you got, moving down your body.
So this is reducing formant on there, so this is quite cool. You can mess around with this and go high and go low. You can change the pitch. Little alter point, really good plugin that I use a lot. And it's just a matter of getting a feel for the track. Now, obviously, this went and got sang to by someone else, but I tried to get the vocal as characteristic sounding as good as I can. So that's the vocals. So the next thing I did with this track is I start thinking about the lead synth and some of the other layers of tracks, what to do within the breakdown, how to build it up again in the build-up section and through to the drop. And what I did with this, I had a lead synth melody here, and I'm using Serum for this. And this is LD Scope Out. It's very plucky, I've got some attack on there. I've got a couple of waves here, filthy and a saw wave variation. Gone down to up to this. This is just quite deep. We've got +7 semitones there, gives it some extra flavour and harmonics. And we've got a third oscillator as well. Okay, which is default shapes. We've got a filter here. These are all the defaults, we've got some noise. And in terms of FX, we've got quite a lot going on there as well. We've got distortion, compression, some filtering going on. Hyperdimension delay, pretty much everything on there. Distortion, so that's quite an interesting lead. What does that sound like? It sounds like this. But you can see here, I did actually start writing some melodies for this as well. All in F minor, so I'm starting to use the flavour of the A flat here, coming back down to the roots and B flat as well. Then I wrote another melody there, and that sort of develops across. And you know, I'm taking a lot of this from inspiration from the bass as well. Anyway, that lead sounds like this. This is leading into the breakdown section. And then we've got another lead here. Similar melody going. In fact, I think it's just a copy. Sounds like this. And then we've got this. This is I think it's the same synth using Serum. No, it's a different one. It's called LD Back, where I belong. And I think I took this down low. I think that's the original. That's what it is. That's very gritty. So you know, that's during the drop. So that's the last part of the drop section to give some added character and flavour. And then we've got this lead synth bass. What was this? LD Arc layer 2, and yeah, a couple of waveforms there, and quite a lot of FX going on there. So I'm not going to go into that much detail with that. I didn't create those. They were default presets for Serum. They worked really well. So this goes like this. So that's a bit higher. It's quite brassy, and that sort of works well with the other leads there. So yeah, that took a lot of experimentation and trying to get the feel for what they sound like. And the leads together at this stage sound like this. Okay, so that's the leads. So obviously quite early on in the track, I'll build out the beats, the kick. I'll probably do it before I actually show it in this video actually. But what we've got here, we've got a kick. Nice heavy deep kick there. And then we've got a clap coming in. Okay, these are from Splice. So these are used to create a beat Splice. And then we've got open hi-hat here. We've got some snares here. We've got a top loop here. You see that's getting louder throughout the track. Got closed hi-hat here. It's got a ticking sound, gives it internal some timing to the track. And then also got stuttering effect here. It's like a scream stutter, and that's during the breakdown and also the build-up just before the drop. Okay, we'll play that later on. And we've got a snare roll, so this is leading up to the drop section. What you'll find here, we have got some automation on the frequency here, so see the frequency opening up as we go through snare roll towards the fill section for the drop. Okay, that gives it a bit of character, and we've then got the cymbal here. Okay, so that's the beat, and altogether it sounds like this. So that's really quite a heavy beat. It's really nice. Obviously, we've got to mix that later on, and we've got to make sure that that's going to cut through the mix and the bass using side chaining, so we can duck the bass and allow room for the kick to sound throughout the track. I'm just going to play the bass now and the beats together. Just going to see what actually was done here in terms of side chaining. There's the main bass, so you can see we've got compressor on there, and we'll side chain with another bass that we have there, which is a gnarlier bass. And so I'm going to side chain the kick on that. Yeah, I think I must have decided not to sidechain the bass because it's quite a choppy bass, so it's, although it is appearing on the downbeats there with the kicks playing, I felt it wasn't interfering. So that's the beats, and next we have effects. So got some effects in here. It's quite heavy on the effects on this song, as you can see here in the red section. We have the effects, and this was really where I think this made this track stand out on the sort of sound design side, and I really want to make it a little bit different. And what we've got here is I created like a blippy sound like this. So this was, it's somewhere in this track, but basically I bounced a Nexus sound, and I played around with it, and I added, I think I remember rightly, I added a plugin, Shaperbox. Okay, so Shaperbox is a really useful plugin where you can add sound effects, you can change the pitch, the timing, you can add noise, you can crush, add wobbles, filters, flutters. It's amazing, and you can be there all day, but this is what I use to create this characteristic FX sounds. So I had a blip and then I reversed the blip. Okay. What else do we have here? An FX. That's just an uplifter. That's pulsing. So yeah, this initial sound here with the FX here at the beginning. So the story behind this track was, as I started writing the lyrics, the title of the song just came out and sprang out at me. The song's called "Whatcha Got." So I had this idea of sort of, you know, out in the town, the nightlife, club, and then getting into conversation about cars and saying, someone says, "Oh, what you got?" You say, "Okay, I got a Mustang," or whatever. And Mustang's my favorite car. So this is how this song came about. And so I wanted to, at the start of the song, I wanted to try and create sort of a big muscle car engine sound. And so the engine cylinders ticking over. So this is where this idea came from for this sound here at the start. It sounds like this. So that's like, sounds like a lasso sound. I think it's really interesting. It sounds like an engine sort of ticking over, revolutions going round. So this is where that came from. So we've got some EQing on there, and we've also got some Valhalla delay as well, with some automation on there, as you can see, in terms of mixing the amount of delay. I think that works really well. And then after that, if I remember rightly, I think I designed the engine noise, and what I wanted to do was start the engine high and then come lower and hit the same note as the starting bass sound. Okay, so let me see if I can find it. Oh, this is it here. So I'm using Nexus again for this, and I'm using a bass called Twanger. Okay, so let's see what we did here with the MIDI. So I think we started off on the F here. And I think we've got another track here using the same. It's also using Twanger there as well. And I think we've got on this one, we've got an F2 and an F0. And I added some pitch bend in here. I didn't do it on the MIDI itself. Yeah, I use Shapebox, that's right. So you can see here that I'm altering the pitch of the MIDI. So it goes down here, down, goes down 12 semitones, and it just shoots back up again. Okay, so these two working together, let's pitch bend on both of them. It sounds like this. Okay, then if we look at the bass, the way that bumps into the bass, we get this continuation of that sound, that engine noise. So the start of this note on the bass is F, okay, which is exactly the same note as where we finish here. That sound. So that's how I did the engine noise for this song. So now we'll look at the automation that I did for the bass. So if you remember rightly, early on we're using a Nexus bass, which is called Nexus Movement. And if I just put the automations on, you can see these are green, so we've got an automation on filter modulation cutoff. So you can see what's happening there. So it's slowly opening up and it's getting higher and higher with each bass section. Okay. Then we have envelope modulation, and this gives it that sort of gritty sound. Sounds like this. Okay, which I think is really cool, and I use that in the build of the verse. Okay, and we've got some delay and we've got some reverb in there, which really sort of enhances the sound. And then we've got amplitude modulation decay. So, did we do anything on that? No, that's just flat. So that's it in terms of automation. Just two automations there, just to count that. Modulation envelope, modulation cutoff, filter. I mean, it is a very nice bass, this. And, you know, if I play the vanilla version of it, here. You can see the cutoff filter there and how it's altering the chemistry of the sound. And so that's basically just playing around with that and just incorporating that throughout the track. And you'll see it gets a bit sort of grislier the further down we go into the drop section. So you can hear that sort of sound in the drop, okay? So that's the automation side of it. Let's get rid of that. And put the main bass back on. So that's the bass automations. So that's the bass automations. The next thing I did, if I remember rightly, I started arranging the tracks, so arranging the leads, looking at what instrument should come in and what should come out, taking away, simplifying the beats during the breakdown section. So we have the verse coming in here. So you can see here I've taken away the kicks, and we've gone down on volume, on gain for the clap. So we've taken away, stripped away a few bits. We have introduced the loop here, and this gradually builds up here in volume to gear, and then it comes back together again for the build up and the drop. Okay. So that's the arrangements of drums. Oh, we've also got this bass here as well. What's this? Drum drop. So that is the gnarly bass with some pitch bend on it, and this was a Serum bass. So this is no Diet Coke. So we've got a little bit of a less of a plucky envelope here. We've got some sustain on that. And we've got a sub bass as well. That's taken down. So look, it's a filthy bass, so it's really nice gritty bass. So that was used that sparingly, but that had some counters for the drop, and I think that works really well for this sort of funky track. Then what I also did, I thought about adding some more interesting vocals. So I started off, I got this splice. This was a breathing sound. Sounds like this. We've got some delay on that and some reverb. So that was sporadically used throughout the track here, different sections, generally on the breakdown section. And then there was this section here towards the end of the breakdown. So that was my recorded voice, then with some effects on it. And basically that was created from the original MIDI for the bass. So it keeps the same beat of the bass. Okay. So it's those sorts of things, which I think those little things, if you don't notice them in a track, but it keeps in sync with the rest of the track, the underlying bass. And you know, if they were playing in that manner with that timing, then it'd probably sound off, you know. So it really keeps some nice synergy with the rest of the track. We've also got a scream as well here. It's in the breakdown section. What else have we got? And then we've just got the vocals here. Oh, we've got a female sound here. Whatcha Got. I don't think I did use that in the original final version. Can't remember. They've got some female vocals here. Yeah, so this is the breakdown section. So this is interesting. So recorded this is my voice actually, and then I added a lot of format with the altar boy here. You can see here there's automation on there on the format, and also on the pitch as well, and also the drive. So there's a lot going on here. This is experimental. So this basically sounded like this during the breakdown.
Tell me where the party at. Show me where you getting high. Tell me where the party at. Show me where you getting high. Tell me where. Show me where. Tell me where the party at. Show me where you getting high.
So correction, that wasn't me singing. This is a splice. Yeah, this is a splice sample. It's a vocal hook female here. Okay. Yeah, so that adds a bit of character there, that breakdown, and then that comes down back into the intro there as well. So, and then we get the final song. So from the start, let's play the song, and this is what the whole thing sounds together. And then the whole song all put together sounds like this. And then there was an additional sound I added to the vocals using granulator. So I used the MIDI on the bass. So using the F, it's the same pattern for the bass. And I added the granulator Ableton plugin and some delay and a little autoplay as well again. Got some form on top of there, but I don't think there's any automations on this. Anyway, that sounds like this. And the final track all put together sounds like this.